Today I want to talk about very briefly the difference between capitalism, cost recovery, and donation as they relate to black liberation. Now it's important that we speak only about the basics of these three concepts, because you can hybridize any concept to make them fit your goal, your aim, or your purpose. So I don't want to get too fancy today. Basically, you can adapt or you can change the concept to make it fit your purpose. Our purpose, of course, is black liberation, or some would say black independence, which is basically the same thing. All right? Now, capitalism is profit driven. Cost recovery is based on recuperation. And donation is based on charity. Now, I was trained, educated, if you will, in an Eastern way, as some would call it. I like to call it an indigenous way. Whereas many people have been educated in a very Western way, or a European way, or as I like to call it, a white supremacist way. And the European model is to teach in a very linear fashion. The indigenous model, or the Eastern model, is to teach in a circular way. So many times when I'm speaking, I speak in a circular way and I lose a lot of people. And I appreciate those that have been able to stick with me and bear with me. I try to keep these messages very short because I realize that it can really try your patience as I speak in this circular way. So by the time I get halfway through the message, that's when you really start to understand usually what I'm trying to say. And then the rest of the time I'm bringing you back to the beginning of my topic to tie it all in. All right? But again, we want to talk about the basics of capitalism, cost recovery, and donation as it relates, or as they relate to black liberation. Now we want to use real examples. So what I have here is a red, black, and green water bottle that somebody made for me 3 Earth Days ago. What's up, Lynn? Appreciate that. She made this 3 Earth Days ago. And let's say that this bottle, this is a water bottle, costs $2 to produce. Let's just say that it was $1 in labor and $1 in supplies and material and whatever other costs would go into making such a bottle. So if we take capitalism, which is profit-based, and we said that we want everybody to have a red, black, and green water bottle, then we would probably convince the people that this water bottle is worth $10. Okay? So with that basic understanding, we could make an $8 profit on this water bottle every time we sold one. And because it costs $2 to make, only $2 would be going back into the making of another bottle. So we could get a steady flow of profit, and that profit would be $8, not $10, because it costs $2 to make it. Keep up with the math. 10 minus 8 is 2. Okay, or 10 minus 2 is 8, however you want to flip it. All right. So in capitalism, the goal is to make a profit. So imagine, if you will, that we could convince the people that are going to use their labor to make this bottle to do it for free. So now I'm not paying for the labor, which costs $1. I'm only paying for the supplies and the material and other items that it takes to make this bottle. And that's worth $1. So now I'm only spending $1 to produce this bottle, but I'm charging $10 for each bottle sold, so I'm making a constant profit of $9. Some people would think that that's fair. Just know who you're dealing with. Those that think that that's fair some kind of way, just file them away in the back of your mind. You're going to have to deal with them at some point or another, because capitalism stands for wealth over health. The only thing they give a damn about is the bottom line, and that is how much money they're making. So when you look at slavery, some people, if you think about this water bottle, if they choose the capitalism version or the capitalism approach for selling these water bottles, then more likely than not, they would have been quick or easy to convince, that is, to take part in the slave trade, because it's the law and everybody's doing it. So I might as well get in and get my share of the profits. Okay, so that's capitalism. Let's set that aside. Remember that model. With cost recovery, you're talking about recuperation. So if it costs $2 to make this water bottle, and we're using the cost recovery model, then we're going to charge $2 for the water bottle. So every time you get $2, you can produce another water bottle. You make another water bottle with the $2 that's given to you, and you sell that water bottle for $2, and you keep with that cycle of paying out and then recovering the cost. Okay? And then the final concept is donation, which is based on charity. Now, with charity, you say this costs $2, and I'm only taking donations. So whatever you give me, you'll be able to get this bottle. But the only problem with that is, say you're only going to give me 50 cents. And I want everybody to have a bottle. So now your donation is 50 cents. I give you the bottle, but I don't have the other $1.50 it takes to produce another bottle to provide the bottle for anybody else. So that's the problem. That's the only problem I see with donation. Of the three concepts, cost recovery makes more sense to me. When you're talking about something like freedombook.com, which was started by the black supremacists out there. And I know when we say black supremacy, we turned a lot of people off because they're thinking in terms of white supremacy. Their thinking is based on white supremacy. So when they think of white supremacy, they think of things like the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, and they think of very brutal and racist type of philosophy. So they think that we're just taking the diabolical nature of white supremacy and painting it black. Well, just know when I'm saying black supremacy, I can't say what anybody else is thinking, but I know what I think. So when I say black supremacy, I'm saying that black supremacy is the antidote to white supremacy. Black supremacy is the opposite of white supremacy. So whatever in your mind you think white supremacy is, black supremacy is the opposite of that concept. So the black supremacists created Freedom Book and KingNobleBlackRulership.com. So no matter what you say about King Noble, he's created, and the black supremacy movement has created these websites so that you can be uncensored with your black liberation views. You can say whatever you want to say. You're not going to get kicked off. At least I don't think you're going to get kicked off. I don't know all the rules. But I assume that as far as black liberation goes, they welcome a broad range of black liberation ideas. So some people, because they have a problem with King Noble, refuse to join freedombook.com. But King Noble and the black supremacists have not even begun to conceptualize to do things that could even begin to scratch the surface of what white supremacy has done and how it's affected black people all over the world. But you won't join freedombook.com, but you'll join and maintain your subscription facebook.com. This is just a reality that we're going to have to discuss and that you're going to have to deal with in your meditation or your reflection whenever you do these things. Hopefully you are reflecting on yourself, because we all have to improve ourselves. That is what is ultimately one of the ingredients that's going to help us move towards black liberation. Okay? So remember the three basic concepts: capitalism, cost recovery, and donation. Remember, capitalism is based on profit. Cost recovery is based on recuperation. And donation is based on charity. You have to figure out which one works best for you, and use whichever concept you think is most righteous, to use a religious term, to help us achieve our black liberation goals. This has been Daku Akabo Wa'akatu.